As we were musing, the abbot and the priest came up, accompanied by the old Lama who had charge of the records. We became so engrossed with his recital of the history that it was necessary for the abbot to call our attention to the fact that the time for our appearance before the Dalai Lama was fast approaching, and that we should be in robes ere this. When we arrived at our quarters, we found robes laid out for each of us, but how to put them on was a facer to us. The time was passing so swiftly that we decided to make a bold, quick try and put them on helter-skelter. It developed later on that some of them were inside out, others backside foremost, while a few had the robes on as they should be. Upon arriving at the audience chamber, we beheld the Dalai Lama crossing the hall with his guard to enter the chamber by the great doors. We were certain we saw a broad smile flit across his face. We composed ourselves at attention to await the opening of the side door, which was our cue to enter the chamber. Soon the door opened, and we were ushered in amidst the most gorgeous decorations that it had been our lot to witness. The ceiling of the room terminated in a great dome in the centre. In this dome were 3 large openings, through which great beams of sunlight flooded, lighting up the room with a brilliance and splendour too magnificent for description. The walls were completely covered with gold thread tapestries, interlaced with figures made of silver threads. In the centre of the room, on a raised dais, covered with a cloth of spun gold, sat the Dalai Lama, dressed in a robe of spun gold, trimmed with purple and spun silver cloth. We were conducted before the Dalai Lama by the abbot and the high priest, and, as before, they stood at either end of the line. After a word of greeting, the Dalai Lama stepped down from the dais and stood before us. He raised his hands. We knelt and received his blessing. As we arose, he stepped to our chief and, placing a brooch upon his breast, spoke through the interpreter. This will allow you and your associates the freedom of this land. You may come and go at will, and with it I bestow upon you this commission, which entitles you to the rank of a citizen of Tibet. I confer upon you the title of Lord of the Great Gobi. He then walked down the whole line, placed a smaller but similar brooch upon the breast of each one of the company. Wear this as a token of my esteem. It will admit you to the whole land of Tibet. It is your password wherever you go. He took the scroll containing the commission from the hand of the abbot and handed it to our chief. The brooches were beautifully made of gold, wrought in filigree, with the most lifelike likeness of the Dalai Lama carved in relief on jade, set like a cameo in the centre. To us, it was a jewel which we prize very highly. The Dalai Lama and all were graciousness itself. All we could do was say thank you. The old Lama who had charge of the records was ushered in, and we were informed that we would share the evening meal with the Dalai Lama. After the meal was finished, the conversation drifted to the remarkable tablets. The Dalai Lama, as well as the old Lama, speaking through an interpreter, gave us a detailed account of the history of the tablets, all of which we carefully noted.